want to start out by letting you know, I mean, it's no secret that there are staffing challenges throughout the city and at Steinmetz and CPS. Right now, we are currently having some staffing challenges with security officers. We have open security clerk assistant, school clerk assistant, library assistant, school assistant, miscellaneous employees. We have a special education teacher vacancy, temporary special education teacher, and temporary bilingual teacher. So, just to give you an idea, we started hiring everyone back in May, and we were in a good spot having all positions filled, ready to start the school year. Unfortunately, we had some retirements at the beginning of the school year in security and some other departments who decided to wait until last minute. And when that happens, we have to vacate positions, fill out paperwork, and we have to wait till they're advertised and hire someone, so on and so forth. So we're in the process of hiring security officers, and there is a shortage. And I'll give you an example. I received 29 applications, or I should say resumes, from safety and security. I reached out to 16 who seemed qualified. I take back 18. Of the 18, one responded, they are no longer interested in the position. The other one responded and had an interview. Some of the applications, all the other 16 have not responded back to us, and we cannot schedule interviews. Previous to that, we had another round that were not part of the 29, and we were able to select a candidate. Currently, they are in the fingerprinting and the background check, so we're just waiting for that to clear so they can go ahead and start. Security clerk, I keep saying it. School clerk assistant, we're short in one area to help our counseling department. Library assistant to open up the library, and school assistant is a position that was given to us by CPS. It's a new position that we didn't open up as a local school, but it's basically to help this transition during the pandemic. All these positions are available at schools across the city, so everybody's trying to find school assistants. In addition, we were giving the position to be able to hire temporary, part-time, hourly employees to help around the building, and these positions pay minimum wage. And again, everybody across the city is trying to hire for these positions. We have a vacancy for special education teacher. We have the classes covered, but we still have a vacancy for that. And we keep reposting the application, reposting it, hoping to get more candidates. And we maybe get one or two. And lately we've hit a dry spell not getting candidates applying to these positions. Let alone, we do have a teacher who had to take a leave for health reasons, and actually two teachers. And as a result, we're trying to hire for a temporary replacement. If it's difficult trying to find somebody for a regular position guaranteed for a year, imagine a temporary position where you can't tell them you're going to be employed for a week, a month, 6 months. There's no guarantee when a person returns, the position is no longer there. These challenges have led to, as you can imagine, challenges, of course, in the hallways, in the lunchroom, service offices, student services, different departments, in which our staff is stretched thin. Over the summer, throughout the pandemic, without stop, our lunchroom staff has been here serving the community, offering the lunch program. They've worked continuously, not having vacations. They're still working now. We've had support personnel who've been working on, giving out technology and different things. We've had administration here, and we have some other staff members, and then teachers, who were here, of course, at the end of the last school year. Now that we are back and we're short-staffed, we've been doing everything possible to try and reach out to safety and security and other people who can help us in CPS, asking for additional assistance. The responses, I can empathize with them. They do not have many people that they can send out. And that's the response I get. They have to focus on priority. To them, this is not necessarily a priority unless things are actually going on. And as you can imagine, like I said, I could emphasize, we've had shootings, not Steinmetz. I mean, there's been shootings in CPS in the city, there's been stabbings, there's been other things going on at other schools, and they have limited resources. They can't find candidates, and they're trying to put them in other schools. Fortunately, with the advocacy of our network chief, we were able to request and receive, after a few days of consistently asking for more assistance, we were able to receive what are called white coats. These are security officers provided by CPS in order to help us get through this shortage that we have right now. And they've been with us for about 2 weeks, and hopefully they will continue to be with us. They could be pulled at any moment, but we will continuously report and ask for more assistance as much as we can. I've had an opportunity to talk to our PPC, not our PPLC, but our PPC, which is the union group of teachers, in which we talk about problems and challenges. I've talked to different teachers, culture and climate, my administrative team, and we've come up with some of the challenges that need to be addressed, but also some action steps. So some of the steps that we've taken so far is as I already said, we've communicated with safety and security for additional supports. Fortunately, those supports have now arrived, and hopefully we can continue to have those. Number 2, we've met with PPC, culture and climate team, and staff members. And then number 3, we've redistributed counselors and support staff when necessary. So when I talk about number 3, one of the challenges, again, we can have people that call off because they're sick. They have family emergencies, different things, and that leaves us with a shortage of staff. And when that occurs, 2 particular days, I basically had made the executive decision and say, counseling team, support offices, I'm sorry, but this particular day, we're short-staffed to the point that we need to shut down these offices, and I need you to be in the lunchroom, I need you to be in the hallways, I need you to be on the 3rd floor, 2nd floor, and we had to reassign people to different areas. It was not an easy decision, but unfortunately, it's what we had to do to make sure that we could stabilize the building and make sure we had coverage everywhere. This is when we didn't have the support of the white coats. We did this for 2 days. On the 2nd day, we did receive 1 white coat, and they were able to communicate back, yes, we do need some extra support. It's Steinmetz, see how you can help us out. And we've been fortunate to have them since. Some of the next action steps that I had to take was establish a whole school safety committee to strategize and discuss the challenges. These are the action steps that we're in the process of doing. I've already sent out an interest form to staff members and to the LSC to see who's interested in being on this committee so that we can discuss how to strategize around some of this. I'll take a pause in what I'm reading off the screen for a minute and say, where the real power comes is in collective strategizing and advocacy. If we don't have voices to help us and advocate, to communicate, whether it's to CPS or with our LSC, we work together, then those that the squeaky wheel that makes the noise gets the oil, as they say, right? So we have to be able to come together to advocate for some of these different strategies and resources that we need. Number 2, we're going to schedule, the goal is by the end of next week to schedule, hopefully by the middle of the week, a class period in which we're going to basically do something like this, where we have a Google Meet, and we're going to ask all the teachers to stream it in their classrooms so that myself, the administrative team, the deans, and everyone can safely, without violating COVID restrictions, can safely give the message over the live stream regarding what our expectations are as a school. Students will challenge the expectations, but we need to do a reset and let them know what does it look like to be a student in a school, in a high school, at Steinmetz. And we need for everyone to hear that consistent message. The important part about this is that we're going to follow it up with a teacher discussion. And it's gonna be a guided discussion in which we're gonna give teachers some, guided questions to talk to the students about some of the challenging behaviors, how would they resolve them, how they feel about them, and try to get some of that input, but also just start creating that conversation so that students themselves, and some of the students who joined us today, and some of the students who have shared with you, your own children, that what the norm is at here at Steinmetz, or the expectations, is that everyone comes here to be a student, to be productive, to be a part of a culture and climate in which students are doing good things. We have almost 1,200 students in our building. We do have some challenges, some challenging students, challenging situations, but for the most part, let's say 1,100 students come to school every day expecting a safe environment in which they can learn, in which they can thrive, have opportunities, and socialize in a safe way. It is our goal to make sure we provide that opportunity. And most of the students in this building want what's right and want to do the right thing, and they are doing the right thing. Unfortunately, there are other students who are having challenges. I'm not going to say they're wrong, but they're having challenges that we need to address in a different manner with them, one-on-one basis, give them the support, try to work with PCC in which students are not taking advantage of it, and families are not taking advantage of having that clinic right here. The next action step is we're creating posters. They're going to be displayed around the building with the common expectations and the rules. So this is what we're going to go over during our, I guess you could say, school-wide town hall. We're going to establish in-school suspension schedule. It's going to be based on volunteer commitments. We're also trying to work on a way to do it without volunteer commitments, but it's going to be a combination so that students know there's a penalty between out-of-school suspension and restorative conversations. There's another step or 2 or 3 steps in between that so we can have progressive discipline. Hallway monitoring schedule will be implemented based on volunteer commitments. A library study hall will be open periods 3 through 6 during the lunch periods based on volunteer commitments. And monthly morning staff meetings will be scheduled for the sake of improved communication. And one thing that was not put in the original email I sent to staff, which is we're gonna have student focus groups. So the students that joined us, I'm gonna definitely reach out to them to have them help me take that lead in creating some student focus groups. One of the 3 things that came through is, communication, collective responsibility, and making sure that everyone is being a part of this process. We cannot sit here and blame security for the challenges in the hallway. We cannot sit here and blame teachers for the challenges in the hallway. We can't sit here and blame administration or anyone else. It's a collective responsibility in which everyone has to do their part. I've reached out to the staff, I've asked them, I've sent emails, I have volunteers who are now signing up to open up the library until we get a library assistant, to be there for the kids, to give them an extra space to help relieve some of the crowding in the lunchroom, but also give students who want to study hall that opportunity to be in a quiet space and do their homework, use library books, use the computers. Staff has stepped up. We've created a calendar from here until December in order to make that happen. Same with the hallways, same with in-school suspension. So we're trying to make sure that we are collaborating and holding ourselves accountable to be a part of the solution and not expect somebody else to fix it.
Mr. Jaramillo, I'm just asking Cassandra, unless I know. So we got community partners, right? And we've done the parent patrol before, right? Had some, didn't resolve the issues, right? But it was extra adults in the building. And we talked to them about how could they help. There should be providing services to the school, right? So could they play a role? Because I think it's what students is the consistency of seeing adults, right? In the hallways, they know the teachers are busy, right? You're trying to do your classroom. It's additional adults that they need to see, right? That are helping enforce get in the classroom, right? Or you need help, you need someone to talk to. We had it before. Have we talked about that at all?
No,
With
we
any
haven't,
of the community groups?
no, we have not. And right now, we are working with Northwest and, CTU regarding our grant, and there are some challenges that we're working through. And so we're trying to establish, some, relationships through that
Okay,
and working through those challenges before we start implementing, different groups and different things.
so that's probably also hurting us too, right? As we're trying to figure that out. Usually by this time, you'll have some parents by the doors, right? So I think that's an additional issue that we're being.
And I know that the application for the parent volunteer has changed as well. So that's another problem that comes into account. That it's not as easy as it used to be because there's two types of applications now.
We have level 1, level 2.
Level one, you have to go through background checks and things like that.
Yeah, but if they're not here more than 10 hours, they could do the one that doesn't fingerprint. So we've been able to work through that before. It's just if the partnership, right, if it's an unstable partnership.
I'm not gonna say that, it's not something that we can take, and establish, but just like finding personnel, it takes time. And these are the immediate action steps that we're going to implement now, to get all these different things in place, to help relieve some of the stress that's going on in the building. But some of the hiring stuff, background checks, all that does take time. I mean, that's what we're facing with, some hiring right now.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to at least try to have those conversations now, so it's, if that is something that we're able to do to get the process going. Because it is gonna take time.
I think another thing is, you're gonna do that, might as well start looking at de-escalation training, because right now bringing parents in, definitely it's great to have them, but they would need a lot of training this early on to come to school.
But they have staffing too, right, that are trained for resiliency and everything else. But I understand what you're saying. There's issues with them as it is. How would we ask them to do anything else? So I understand. I get it.
And with all this addressing and all these challenges, how does the alderman help and implement with you all? What is the alderman doing since this is a neighborhood school? And I know that they're supposed to offer so many incentives and assist you all.
Well, right now, I know, the alderman's office is working on creating an education committee, to try to talk about some of the challenges that are common amongst some of the schools in the community and in the ward. I believe that's at the end of the month, our first meeting,
Yes.
Yeah.
October 30th.
October 30th, so, that's something that, I think, once I get through the presentation, I think you'll see some common themes and some things that are eye-opening, that I think, all of our schools are sharing, that we need, advocacy and we need that collective, empowerment to be able to, make some moves and get people moving. Our alderman has always been very supportive of our school and our needs and, of all the schools in the ward. So I'm sure that once we have that opportunity to meet as school administrators and other stakeholders with the alderman's office, I'm sure that that's, gonna be at the top of this list to help us with.
Is that an open meeting or?
I honestly don't know, I'm not holding the meeting, but I know it's an education committee meeting, I believe it's with school administrators and other stakeholders, but I'm not sure about the other stakeholders, I know it's school administrators in the community.
I will tell you that I reached out to him, and I'm still waiting for him to get back to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.